Her kitchen is where the magic is made.
Hi there, welcome to my channel or welcome back. I'm Holly, your friendly neighborhood carnivore, and I am so happy you could join me today. So on today's kitchen adventure, we are going to be making deli meat. Now, it's not something I eat a lot of, but I do like to have it when I travel or when I have a hankering for a sandwich. My kids love sandwiches, so of course they love some deli meat here and there. The hardest part about getting some deli meat is finding some good quality meat that is not filled with a bunch of preservatives and flavors and chemicals and all these extra additives. So I'm very excited to share with you guys how I make my own deli meat. It is almost a single ingredient recipe. I'm gonna call it a 2-ingredient because I'm gonna put some seasoning in it. But I'm gonna be making chicken thigh deli meat today. It's very hard to find chicken deli meat that is dark meat. Usually you just find the white meat, but personally I prefer the dark meat. So we're gonna be making some chicken thigh deli meat today. However, you can use the same process with whatever kind of meat you want, and you can make any type of deli meat that you choose. You can go with turkey, you can go with pork, you can go with beef, you can go with lamb. I've had some really delicious lamb deli meat. So just have fun with it. Pick out what you're going to enjoy and make some and enjoy it. It's going to be delicious. Making this deli meat, like I said, it's very simple with just the 2 ingredients. However, it is a multi-day process. You're going to have to make the deli meat one day. It's going to have to refrigerate overnight, and then you can slice it the following day. So very simple ingredients, very simple cooking method. However, it is time consuming when you consider all the time that you're waiting for it to cook and waiting for it to chill, but also you're going to need some equipment in the kitchen. So the things that you are going to need for this recipe: you are going to need a food processor, you are going to need a meat press, and then you are going to need a meat slicer. Now the meat slicer you could probably skip if you have really good knife skills and can cut the meat very thin, but it's deli meat and you want that stuff really thin, so I really recommend a meat slicer. As usual, I will have this recipe in the description, as well as some links to the different equipment that I will be using to make it easier for you guys if you are needing any of this stuff to be able to make this recipe. One more thing I want to mention before we get started: I can't stand it when I see people making videos on things that I know good and well someone else has used this recipe and has made this video before. So I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to Maria Emmerich, because I know she also has the deli meat recipe. She uses chicken breast for hers. I will put her link in the description as well. I don't necessarily think I'm copying her or anything, because it's just very straightforward, easy to make. But I just want to share with you guys what I do to make my deli meat. We are going to get started. Now, before I start showing you the process, I do want to show you that this is what the meat press is. I will show you more in a minute on how exactly it comes apart and how we're going to use it. But I'm showing this to you now because before we get started, we need a large pot of water on the stove coming to a simmer so that we can submerge this thing all the way up to the lid, because that is how your meat is going to be cooking. It's going to be submerged in a pot of simmering water. So go ahead and get that pot of water heating up and let's get started.
We've got 2.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I'm using Redmond's organic seasoned salt. It's my favorite. Get out that food processor and then let's get everything going. We're going to put all of our chicken into the food processor. Again, that was boneless, skinless. I did have to go ahead and cut down some of the skin that was left on and little bits of fat. You want to keep it as lean as possible. We're going to get all of that into the food processor, and then I'm going to add in my seasoned salt. Now, I used a very rounded tablespoon. It probably came out to about a tablespoon and a half of the seasoned salt. Next up, you're going to put the lid on and you are going to get this processed down as much as you can. Just blend it, blend it, blend it. It's going to get pretty sticky and thick. You're just going to have to deal with it as best you can. The more broken down you can get the chicken mixture, the smoother your slices of meat are going to be. Now that the chicken is all broken down, let me show you my contraption. This is my meat press. It is a nice cylinder little container here. It has got a spring-loaded layer that's going to press the meat down really nice and tight once that lid is on. And then we've got the lid that's going to go on. It's going to lock into place. And then we have got our little meat thermometer that's going to go right in the hole that's in the top, right down the middle of the lid. And that's how we're going to be able to see when our meat is done. Before we add the meat, we need to grease up the inside of our container. Like I said, I had quite a bit of fat and skin still left on my boneless, skinless chicken thighs, so I trimmed that off and I tossed that in the air fryer for a crispy treat. So I'm using all the schmaltz that I had left over from crisping up that skin. Waste not, want not. Now it's time to get that meat transferred into the meat press. This stuff is really sticky and pretty hard to work with. You're going to want to work in small batches so you can get it pressed into the bottom of the cylinder really well. Like I said, it's really sticky and hard to work with. If you can't tell by how hard I'm working at trying to get this separated and out of the food processor itself. Once you get some in there, you're going to want to practice a stabbing motion as if you were in your own horror flick. Using the stabbing motion each time you add a layer is going to help release the air pockets. This way you don't end up with big holes in the middle of your slices of meat. Get it all mashed down really well. Here's what it should look like. Here comes the fun part, adding the springy layer and then watching me struggle to get the lid down on top. It takes a little bit of effort and you have to get the edges lined up just right to get it to lock into place. This sucker put up a bit of a fight, but I finally got it, I conquered it, I got that sucker locked into place. Hooray! Yay for me! Alright, so you see that once it's secure, it is pretty sturdy. I can pick it up by the handle and everything is going to stay intact. Lastly, we need to get the thermometer and put it in the center, so that way we can keep an eye on what the temperature of our meat is while it cooks. Now comes the easy part. Place your meat press in the pot of simmering water that you started earlier. You're going to want the water to come all the way up the sides so that all of the meat gets cooked. I like to have a kettle on the stove so that I have hot water ready. About every 15 minutes or so, check your water level, and if you need to add more, use that hot water from the kettle so that your water doesn't cool off while it's cooking. The cooking process is going to take about an hour to an hour and a half. You want to watch the meat thermometer and make sure that it comes up to 165 degrees. Once your meat has reached 165 degrees, it's time to remove it from the pot of water. Let it sit at room temperature as long as you can to let it cool off before transferring it into the refrigerator. This is going to have to sit in the refrigerator and chill overnight before you can slice it. Now you get to watch me fight with this thing one more time. I thought I could easily pull out the plate with the spring, but it was really stuck to that meat. It was really part of it. I completely forgot that I usually will run some warm water over it before I open it up to help loosen it off of the edges. You'll notice in a minute that it was not stuck to the sides though. It was just in there really tight and I couldn't get it separated. Now that it's starting to come out, I couldn't believe that the whole thing was still stuck to the spring. But you'll notice that it came out really nice and clean out of the pot itself. It was greased very nicely. Next time I may grease the spring plate as well. I'm using a knife to cut around the extra little bits that got stuck around the edges of the plate, which is what was adhering it to the loaf of deli meat. And here you'll see, now that I got that free, it's a nice looking loaf of deli meat. All we have left to do now is to run it through the meat slicer. Test a few slices, see how the thickness is. Mine was a little bit too thick, so I adjusted it, and the rest of them were cut nice and thin, just the way I like it.
Okay, so that process was pretty simple. I know it was time consuming, but honestly, this video is gonna be pretty short because it was just getting it all done really quick. There was just little bits here and there, and then the most time consuming part, you're literally doing something else. Your meat is sitting there cooking, and then your meat is sitting there chilling, and then you just gotta slice it and you're done. So honestly, it was pretty short, sweet, and to the point. Let's get to what we're most excited about, is taste testing this deli meat. Now I've got a few slices here. I have not tried it yet. I actually started this video 2 days ago and I sliced it yesterday, and I wanted to try it so bad, and it smells so good. But yesterday and the day before, I was doing a fat fast, so I couldn't have the protein. So I'm really excited to try this out today. So I'm gonna try this as just the plain meat as it is, and then I have got a little sandwich made up here with my carnivore bread that I toasted up. Got a little piece of bacon in there, so I'm gonna taste that as well. But first, we gotta try it by itself. Now, okay, let me show you real quick. You see we've got a few holes in here. When we were pressing it down with the stabbing motion into the meat press, I didn't get all the air bubbles out. So make sure you have some good stabbing going on. Go ahead and practice your slasher moves for Halloween time, and get all the air bubbles out of that so you don't have those holes in the meat. I'm gonna try this. It smells so good. I was a little bit worried that maybe I put too much seasoning in this, but I don't think I did. I honestly could have gone with a little bit more. So maybe next time I'll do 2 tablespoons. So this is really good. I've also got a little chicken dipping sauce that I've got right here. I'm gonna try it in that. All right, I've got my sandwich here. You see all that lovely chicken in there. I'm going in for a bite. Okay, that sandwich is delicious. Honestly, I think I might take back what I said about the seasoning. I think it might be the perfect amount. I don't know if it's just because I've got the bacon on the sandwich and the carnivore bread is a nice savory bread, but that tasted perfect. I don't think it needed any more seasoning, unless you're just planning on eating it with the plain, deli meat and just rolling it up and snacking on it, which is totally acceptable to do. So, gauge it from there and see what you want. If you guys made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you, first of all. But that also means that you actually like my content and you are here to support me. So I want to ask real quick for a little bit of your input. This has been an interesting time because I started making these videos when my kids were in school and they were away from the house. My husband was at work and everything was quiet when I recorded. and I was able to do things a little bit differently. Over summer break, it's been loud in the house. I don't always have control over things being quiet in the background. So some of my videos, you will notice that as I'm cooking, I'm talking and chatting through the process. Other videos like this one, the background is completely muted when I'm doing the cooking process, and I have gone back and done a voiceover to get that added back in. So my question for you guys is, do y'all have a preference? Do you care at all? Did it make a difference? Did you even notice? If I get enough people telling me they prefer one over the other, I will try to make the videos consistently that way. If you guys don't care, then I will just tailor it to whatever is going on in my life at the time, like I've kind of done here. So just please give me a little bit of input. You can leave it in the comments. You can tell me over on X or on Instagram. On X, I am at Carnivore Friend, and on Instagram, I am at Friendly Neighborhood Carnivore. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Especially subscribe if you have not yet, because then you will see what we're cooking up next in the kitchen. To give you a little sneak peek, next week we are going to be making chips using our deli meat. All right, guys, until next time, bye.
She's the friendly neighborhood carnivore with a talent for cooking up a meaty uproar. From juicy steaks to sizzling ribs galore, she'll have you coming back for more. Fellas, smash that like button. She's the carnivore cooking queen. On your screen, bringing the meaty scene. Come on over and join the team for a culinary dream.